Hi, this is Theseville's Family Farms, and I guess I want to talk to you about something kind of controversial a little bit. It's kind of been weighing on my mind. It's been weighing on my mind a lot. We had a wonderful trip to Florida in a lot of ways. The grandkids had a true wonderful time. As you can tell by the videos I posted, they got to do some really cool stuff, and that was really nice. But it's funny because I was talking to Tom when I could sum up the trip in like 4 words, and they were and it's kind of weird. It was like, it was wonderful, it was terrifying, it was relaxing, and it was infuriating all at the same time. And so therefore I'm actually emotionally exhausted. And the part that I will touch on it just a minute. My mom has turned into a true tyrant. She threw huge fits in public. I was afraid we were going to get kicked out of Disney World. But that's not the subject I want to talk about. The controversial subject I want to talk about is driving. My parents are 77 years old. They both have had strokes. Mom obviously has had a stroke. She lost her right side. And obviously, when you have a stroke, you lose part of your brain. Dad, you cannot tell by looking at him that he has had a stroke. He lost his brain, and in a lot of ways it's very, very sad, because when he was in high school he had the second highest IQ in all of Oklahoma, and I don't know how he knew that, but and he doesn't like talking about it, but he told me that years and years ago. So, but he's not that anymore, and he insisted on driving. His need to prove that he could still drive far outweighed the comfort and safety of his passengers, and there were 5 of us, including my mother, and we got honked at repeatedly. We were on the verge of causing up to 5 wrecks a day, and we were averaging 100 miles a day riding with Mom and Dad. People would squeal around us, flip us off, shake their fist at us, honk. We got honked at all the time. We really almost had one really bad wreck, and it scared the crap out of me. And I tried to talk to him, and he said it was our fault because we were screaming. Okay, let me tell you this too. I don't care how old you are. If you've got your passengers, and there were 5 of us screaming at him, that they're feeling, we were going, stop, we were screaming. If you got that, I don't care how old you are, if you got passengers screaming at you, you don't need to be driving. Give up the wheel. I don't care how you feel about it. Give up the wheel. Give it to somebody else who feels better, who can prove themselves to drive better than that. Thank God in heaven, He protected us. And I want to say too, I'm very grateful for all my friends at home. I found out later who were praying for me too. They had no idea the terror that we were living with, and they were praying for me. And I'm very grateful, because I don't terrify easily, and I was terrified. I stunk of fear for 3 days. And it's a smell that you go, what is that smell? You go, oh my gosh, that's me, and it's because I'm afraid. So, but at the same time, that's a tough subject, Mom and Dad, my brother lives about 30 miles away from them, and he takes very good care of Mom and Dad, but he has his own life too. So what do you do? Do you tell them? I know some of you have already been through some of this, and I've heard some of the older folks talk like, they took my driver's license away, or my kids took my car away, and I can't drive anymore. And I just can only imagine how painful and terrible that is for everyone involved. But at the same time, try to remember that I don't try not to kill everybody else on the road because you feel like you need to drive. We're in a wonderful age. Mom and Dad are in a good place. They are in Jacksonville. They're in a metropolitan area. There's Uber. They can call somebody, take them somewhere, and I understand that's a cost. I understand that that's an issue. But it was truly terrifying. Because we were all screaming at Dad at one time, and it was confusing him, and I can understand that at some point, if you're driving the wrong way down the road, and somebody's going, turn around, Somebody else is yelling, stop. Somebody else is saying, you're going the wrong way. If you've got 5 different instructions being yelled at you, I'm sure that when you're 77 and your brain is a little foggy, that is confusing. And so that's why it was our fault that he was driving so poorly, according to him. I had to close my eyes. I just had to sit there and pray, and it was kind of sad. I'd be going, oh God, please help us, please help us, please help us. And I'd say, thank you. And then I'd go, I know it's only been 5 minutes, but oh, please get us through this, please give us through this, oh, thank you. You know, it was just like almost constantly. And it was terrible. Now, Tom, because he's so laid back and mellow, and my mom and dad liked Tom, he was able to he kept his eyes open. He told me, he goes, I don't know how you close your eyes. But I did it because if my eyes were open, I would be seeing all the stuff that he was doing wrong, and I'd be still yelling, you know, don't do that, don't do this, pull over, this, you know, whatever. I was a little bit sad to see. You know, I know kids fall asleep when they're in a car, but I could tell by the way they were falling asleep, they were putting their earbuds in, and they were just hunkering down in their seats and falling asleep. That's their escape. I've seen Kinzie do it several times over the years. When stress gets to her, she just curls up in a corner and goes to sleep, and that's what my grandkids were doing. That made me sad, you know. But I don't know. It was terrifying, and I feel bad. I'm only 20 years behind him. I don't know if I'm going to have a stroke or not. I don't know what God has in mind for me, but I do know that I'm only 20 years behind him, and somewhere down the road, I'm going to have to quit driving. And I'm not going to want anybody to tell me that I can't drive anymore. And you got to know, if anybody who knows me knows how stubborn I am, if you ever met my parents, you would go, oh, that's where she got it, because they are the most stubborn, hard-headed people I've ever met. And in a lot of ways, that's good, you know, because when something happens, they pick themselves up and get at it. But right now, in this particular case, and I have to admit, Dad, let me get to that here in just a few minutes, but he was refusing to see how frightening he really was to us. He thought we were overreacting. In fact, at one point, he's going, I don't want to scare you guys, but I'm going to put on the brakes. And I'm going, what I was going to get at is the day before we left, Dad fell. And he fell hard, poor man. Some of y'all saw his picture on when I posted on Facebook. He had immediate black eye. I'm not so sure he didn't break his cheekbone or eye socket or something, but he refused to go to the doctor. And so we don't know how much damage he did to his eye. But because his eye was swollen shut, he finally acquiesced and let Tom drive. And but you could tell it was killing him. He would sit there next to Tom every time we went somewhere and just fidget and wiggle and grit his teeth, and he wanted to be driving. But I got to watch him that day that he fell. I could tell by his demeanor he knows he's getting to the end of his driving days, and he's not wanting to admit it. And I'm sorry for him. I'm truly sorry. I really am. But at the same time, my desire to live and my desire to keep my grandchildren alive has got to be more important than his desire to prove that he could still drive. So, I don't know. If y'all have suggestions, if you know anything that I could say or do, I really don't think there's anything. All I can do is pray that he doesn't kill somebody before he finally does have to get off the road. And I hate that. I really do. And I don't know. And like I said, I know it's controversial, because I know one of these days I'm going to have to go down that same road too. But I'm grateful to be home. I'm so grateful to be home. We had a wonderful time. And it was kind of funny too, because at the same time, while Mom's having public displays of tyranny and Dad's trying to prove he could still drive, they paid for a lot of stuff. And you go, oh, I just want to live. I don't care that you're paying for Disney World. You know, you feel bad. You really do. You kind of feel bad because, you appreciate the stuff that they pay for, but I don't know. It was emotionally exhausting regardless. So I'm glad to be home and ready to get back to work.